Hello everyone, welcome back to Silver Tears Tarot and welcome to today's Soulmate Snapshot. So as we were talking about yesterday, I put it out to you and just kind of asked, what would you like to see in today's Soulmate Snapshot? We have a lot of questions that we can typically put to a Soulmate Snapshot, but it is short, doesn't have an extended, so it's usually one of those one and done questions is usually what I'm shooting for. However, I don't know if this is a one and done question, so if it's not, then we will pursue it again in another reading. But I got something that came from 3 of you almost in exactly these words. So I'm just going to put the question out there, and this is the one that we're going to do today. Basically, it is, I can't change my person, but I'm still very much attached. How do I move on knowing that we can't be together? In some cases, some of you are feeling like they've definitely walked away, they've definitely forgotten, and I'm just going to continue my life as if they're not coming back, and I need to figure out how to do that. Whether or not they're definitely done, you may still need to answer that question as part of your own closure, and so I feel like that's where we're going to go today. It's a general reading, as always, so it's going to be general, but it's for this collective. So if you find that it does resonate with you, certainly won't resonate with everybody, but if you find that it resonates with you, then by all means, subscribe to the channel. Give me a note. Tell me what you want me to read about next time. If you are part of this, definitely look to see if there are some other messages out there that might be beneficial for you as well. So let's get on in there, and we're going to look first at the day, the energetic backdrop for the day, because that's one of the things that we like to look at, just to kind of make sure that we have the right perspective when we ask the main question. That main question I'll kind of put right in the middle. And then, of course, at the end, we're going to ask a little bit about you. So we've got the 2 of Cups in reverse. The feel for the day overall is that things not working out in partnership. And it's kind of heavy. It's a heavy feeling because it's things not working out in partnership, but really it's about emotion not flowing. So you may find tough emotional flow in general from them. There we had a few of them fall, but they are looking very much to control what is happening in the situation, want to control the narrative. There's a lot of both masculine and feminine energy that is out of alignment right now, and that's kind of what we see when we have both of these in reverse. So we see a lot of control coming from the Emperor side, and we see kind of just this I'm not ready, unprepared feeling kind of coming from the Empress side. Definitely not ready to be nurturing, not ready to be supportive, not ready to, there's a lot of energy that we need to be balanced in both of you and then between you in order to make things successful. And right now what we're seeing is essentially that 2 of Cups, and when we look more deeply into it, things aren't aligned, but neither is that energetic balance between the 2 of you. So let's see, we've got the Strength card. That one wants to be there. The Strength card is in the upright because you have, it's like this ability, both of you have the ability to look right at reality right now. Even if it's truths you don't really want to see. I think that's part of what's showing this 2 of Cups in the reverse, because I think both of you are seeing that this is just really frustrating. Definitely you are. This is a lot of you. A lot of it feels like it's your energy coming from this anyway. Knight of Shells, lack of communication, this is a perceived lack of passion. This is definitely you. 7 of Feathers. This is I don't know what to do. This is you. A lot of this is just your energy. I mean, there's definitely the shared energy in the Empress and the Emperor and the 2 of Cups, but it's heavy in you. This is heavy in energy around you, which I suppose is fair play, because for the last couple days, this energetic backdrop's been all about your person for one reason or another. And we've asked the question that way. We've intentionally asked it that way. There's a lot of sitting in your own thoughts. right now. This Eight of Acorns is slow moving energy, non-moving energy, that energy that kind of makes you sit and realize things are what they are. Here with the King of Acorns, and Acorns is fire energy here. This is not a balanced King of Acorns, unfortunately. So it's again going to have a little bit of that feeling of, I just want to get to a place where this is over with. I just want to get to a place where it feels better. There's a lot of, and this bears out with the energy of what you guys have sent to me today. I'm just frustrated and I don't want to feel this way anymore, which is completely understandable. You're ready to walk away. You're ready to, in this energy, there's a certain element of it where you're ready to just say, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm done. This person clearly has no interest. They know where I am. And that's certainly a tack that you can take. But the thing is, I think you've tried that and it hasn't been super successful. It's not easy to find that closure and to actually move on. So the question is going to be about, how do you move on? I can't change my person. How do I move on? Knowing that we cannot be together, which may or may not be true. But it's the perception right now, and we definitely see that in this energy. So when we look at, let's kind of take, we want the advice for you to go over here. As far as the situation with your person, let's take a little bit more of a look. I'm trying to figure out how best to ask the question, because you acknowledge that you can't change them. Let's look a little bit into what moving on might look like, because this feels like a lot of, I guess, anger. Before we get to the action, let's do some analysis. We've got emotions. Let's do a little bit of what is actually happening in this situation. And why did things change so abruptly? Okay, we've got wants to talk. Queen of Pentacles, Ten of Cups, Queen of Swords. Listen to you. My gosh, we don't even need the other deck today. Okay, so this is intense. All right, so you've got this, and we're going to do them in the order that they came out. Queen of Pentacles, Ten of Cups, Queen of Swords. Queen of Pentacles says, I have the self-worth to understand when I am being treated properly and when I'm not. I'm not being treated properly. I'm not okay with this. I'm walking away. Queen of Swords says, I am totally cutting this out. You're right, Queen of Pentacles. This is not how we should be treated. We're leaving, taking our ball and going home. Absolutely not going to be involved in this. End of story. And that is what you typically would do when you're not being given the appropriate respect. However, we've got this Ten of Cups, which is that energy around this bond. It is impossible to ignore. It is something that absolutely just cannot be tossed to the side. You can't do it. Your person can't do it. And we're not talking about that right now necessarily, but that's kind of, I mean, this is what's happening with you, in that you've got, man, you've got this confidence. You're ready to walk away. You're ready to say, I don't see this going the way that I want. You've got that no nonsense energy today, but that Ten of Cups cannot be denied, will not be denied. All right. We've got the Five of Feathers. So you know how difficult this is, and how much, even with knowing what you want. This is the Nine of Shells. It says, I know what I want. I see it. This is wish fulfillment. I see what I want. You also know this isn't quite it. This isn't quite it, because you're not receiving what you should be. You're not receiving the responses that you should be. You're not receiving the respect that you should be. What did I just drop? Okay, Three of Shells. There is, okay, so there's a huge difference, a huge disconnect from the way that that you know yourself to be, and the way you know yourself to feel, and the way that this is actually playing out. It's pretty significantly different, and honestly, I see a big tendency in you to want to walk away and cut this out, because you know you're not being treated the way that you want to be treated, or that you should be. But I also see you with this, recognizing the lesson of the Ten of Cups here, and the realization that that's not always going to be the right answer. Even if you could, it wouldn't necessarily be the right answer. Oh, this is complicated. So we have to ask in the next one, practically speaking, in this question over here, practically speaking, how are you supposed to move forward from this? Because King of Feathers says you look at this situation and you recognize a need to walk away. You look at it, you see it. This is not new information. This is basically what we saw in these top three over here. You're confident, you're ready to cut things out, but you realize that there's a lot more to this. This person has been incredible happiness for you, just like in between. So if you looked at, if you watched yesterday's reading, you saw where your person came in, got thoroughly enthralled with you, at some point figured out that this wasn't going to work for them for some reason, with regard to most likely that third party that immediately came up in the energy around them, and then they ignored it for a while because that you made them so happy. Here's that same thing here in you, where you are acknowledging how happy they make you. And then that was part of what caused you to stick around for as long as you've stuck around, but also because you realize that every time you try to retract or cut it out, it just comes back. I also see here that maybe there's a resistance toward leaving. There's that feeling that maybe if you walk away, that they will forget you. And then we've got the Six of Crystals here. This is about making sure that you can imagine how things would be if they were going to treat you properly. And it's hard to walk away with that knowledge that it is actually possible. But check this out. And this is a question that somebody asked also. It's about retracting your energy so that theirs comes toward you. When you have this type of bond, one of the things that is pushing them away is the fact that you are magnetized toward them. And so we've looked at that. We looked at that specifically in a reading and saw this to be the case. And we even asked the question, why does your magnetism tend to push them away? But one of the reasons that you are able to turn that around, if you're able to, it's like with the bond, is as your energy is pushing, it's pulling theirs back. But if you started to pull yours away, theirs would naturally follow, if that makes sense. And so one of you had asked the question about how this works. It's essentially an energy vacuum, and so that's how that works. But we're going to look now into what this means for you, what you ought to be doing, because the question that came out was, hey, I can't change my person. How do I move on knowing we can't be together? And there's a strong sense in here of that type of energy, of that type of sentiment. So whereas we're not answering the question today about whether or not you can be together ultimately in the future, this is, let's make the assumption that you're not. What do I do about it? And practically speaking, what do you do? What does that advice look like? That's what this third column is all about. Because we've seen some very no-nonsense energy come out. We've got this Eight of Wands here that says it's a very strong just do it sort of vibe. And, you know, it does feel like just walk away, just do it, just make it happen. But by the same token, we all acknowledge that's not really how this works, and it's not that simple. There's more to just being able to walk away. We've got the Knight of Acorns. So this is the weirdest thing. What I'm getting is like this sense of exposing yourself to things that remind you of this person, but not necessarily in the best ways. So it's about truly recognizing and internalizing what went wrong, places where that equal exchange of energy didn't happen, understanding what it ought to look like, and understand this Knight of Acorns is like in and out behavior. It's like in and out energy, but you want to bring this to yourself so that you can look at it and say, I'm definitely not this person. And you won't have to, like, it's going to come to you. You absolutely have somebody heading your direction that's going to give you some of that Knight of Acorns energy when they get triggered anyway. So you've got the Three of Acorns here in the reverse. Recognize that you've already got things set in motion, because there may be some doubt about that. You may be feeling trapped and like you can't really get away, but that's not really what's happening. Your growth has really done a lot you have a lot of self-worth coming into this, but the self-worth that you are now growing on top of it is quite significant. But we've got the Ten of Crystals here in reverse. This is about a change that's happening in your life that you're going to need to affect in order to be able to walk away from this person. It could be moving to a new town if you want to get really extreme about it. Some people would change jobs. Some people would focus on something different. Everyone's going to focus on something different in order to walk away, if that's the decision that you choose to make. But honestly, even if you choose not to walk away, your focus on on something else is going to be essential for your healing, because hyper focus on this situation is not getting you there. And it will not get you there. The Two of Acorns here in reverse, recognize this is like that Knight of Acorns energy, and this is all very fiery. We've got fire, 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 fire. It's very, you've got this light of fire sort of energy, and here you're completely being encouraged to do it. And then just, it's very act. It's very much acting on, okay, if you want to walk away, you've got to do it. Take the initiative and make it happen. But it's, when we look at it, it's really about how do you focus on something else. But part of what you've got to do is also acknowledge what wasn't so great for you out of this situation, so that you continue to have impetus to walk away. You have the Two of Crystals here, which talks about the lack of balance that you're going to experience while you're starting to reorient your thoughts. Just be aware that that's going to happen. Page of Crystals here suggests that you are very much in learning mode, and you're going to have to open yourself up to that learning. Four of Crystals will say that you're going to be disappointed in how long it has taken to get to some point. Please be gentle with yourself. There's a lot that's been going on here. With the Seven of Acorns, this is part of why you don't get there as quickly, and why you need to go easy on yourself, because it's a lack of confidence, but it comes from not being exactly sure how to do it, not being sure, I don't even know that I want to walk away, much less how to walk away, and there's kind of that feeling that comes in with the Seven of Acorns. Let's see if anything else wants to come out here, because it's painting a very honest but difficult to take sort of picture. So we've got the Tower, and we want the Six of Feathers, both in reverse. The Tower in reverse talks about avoidance of something that is a significant change. This is not the change of walking away from them. This is a change that comes from that. Be aware, though, if you walk away, you are going to magnetize their energy back toward you. And so it can be a little bit challenging, because you're going to get to a place where this is kind of what this is. Energy gets riled up by the fact that you walk away. And the thing is that once you've made the decision to walk away, you may want to uphold that decision. So just be prepared that you may have to have a conversation with somebody. You're also going to have something else that wants to happen as a result of this. It may not be easy for you to take, but it is not about this other person. It's just brought on by the energy of you saying, I'm making a definitive decision. So you guys asked, and you're receiving, but I got to tell you, this is not a simple, it's not an easy answer to give, because it's very, you've got a challenge here. You've got to solve that in a way that kind of rubs it in a little bit. But I think that you've got this soulmate that's coming in that's going to help you do that. And we know that the experience with that soulmate teaches you some things. They've got some things to teach you. You've got some things to teach them. And it helps to take some of the edge off a little bit. But man, just that experience over here with the energy of the day, that I know some of you are really feeling it this way, because I got that email and it felt that way, or the notes and it felt that way. But it was, I'm not super balanced. I'm not super happy about this. I can't change them. What do I do? How do I just walk away? So that's the subject of today's Soulmate Snapshot. It is no nonsense. Let me know what you guys think. Please try not to be too profane, but I'm curious to see how this one hits, because I get a lot of messages from you guys that say, here's the impact of today's reading, and kind of here's what's going on with my situation. So especially for those of you who were asking, how do I do this? How do I move on? How do I walk away and make this real? I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on this. So thanks for being here with me on this Soulmate Snapshot, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.